What's up, world? This is Raul with Live Loud coming at you guys again with another episode of Say It Loud, where we get to talk to amazing people near and far all over the world doing awesome things and hearing their stories of what led them to be where they are now. So today I have my friend Jessica, who is an amazing entrepreneur, coach, badass, man. She's a number of different things. And we met, it might be 3 years ago, actually. Yeah. At this entrepreneur business development coaching platform, and we've been able to stay in contact and just stay good friends. So Jessica, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Absolutely. So I'll let you introduce yourself, since you know your mastery and all the different things that you do with your people.
Okay, so hi everybody. I'm Jessica Hetherington. I'm a business coach for driven entrepreneurs like you. I help people build their brands from the ground up, market yourself and sell your services. My company is called Be Bold. That's my message to the world and to you. I'm sure we'll talk about that more, but that's my company's name. So yeah, that's what I do. And I do it through group coaching, one-on-one coaching. Group coaching is gonna be my focus right now in these times.
Cool. What are your services? How do you support entrepreneurs and being bold and doing all that stuff? How do you support people?
Okay, so the first thing, I have a Facebook group. That's where my hub is, where I'm giving a lot of free value every day about being your brand. My whole thing is you are your brand, being your brand. I talk a lot about confidence, and because I really think that at the end of the day, that's what I do with people. We can talk about sales and marketing and branding, and we do talk about all that. But at the end of the day, if you don't own who you are and what you do, none of that is going to work out. So, I call myself a business coach, but at the end of the day, I really am working on mindset and strategy with people, because you won't follow through with the strategy if your mind isn't there. And that's just, I've seen it time and time again. It doesn't matter how many freebies you download or how many freebies you download, how many books you read, how many podcasts you listen to. It's if you don't believe in yourself, you have to be sold on yourself. So that's my main thing with people is that's the foundation of every single thing that I do, whether I'm teaching branding, marketing, or sales.
Yeah, that's so powerful, because that is key. It's essential to be really grounded in your mission, your why, your purpose. There's so many times in business, as we both know as entrepreneurs, as we're developing our businesses, taking it to new levels, or even have an idea of wanting to launch a business, and it becomes so rigid. It becomes this doingness of business, and so often we leave out our personality and our character and our charisma, and how that contributes so much. And that's one of the reasons why I love following your content, your page, because whether it's us sitting down for coffee, just hanging out, talking about life and what stuff we're going to you being in front of your audience and you working with people, I still get that same fire. I still get that same character. So
really, thank you.
Where does that come from? When did you start working with people in developing that sense of self?
So I think that I've always kind of been naturally, I've always loved psychology and personal development. Even when I was 10 years old, I'd hang out in that section at Barnes and Noble. I loved it. But you've heard this story before. This is one of my stories, not the story, but how I was overweight growing up. I was not confident. I was pretty much the opposite of how I am today, really and truly. And so it was terrible. My adolescence was not fun. I really struggled with confidence and depression and anxiety and eating disorders and all these things. And I went to therapy. I got coaching. I did a lot of work on myself. And then it's always been my interest. And so it kind of just carried over into talking to other people about it. But actually, I would say when I worked for Lululemon, they're very into personal coaching. They're very into personal development. And with my team, I was a manager. That was part of my job. And I was wow, I just want to do this for a living. I don't actually care about the other parts of this business at all, hardly. So I want to do this.
That's really great. That's really powerful. So what is one of your stories that really supported you in getting there? We all have this experience or these moments that are really defining. It could be one moment or several moments over the years that really, I guess, align us to let us know that we're on the right track.
Yeah. So my story, this is like everything happened because of this. So when I was working at Lululemon, and I'll tell like some of the details, but not all of them because I don't even think it's necessary. But I started having a very rare medical chronic pain issue that no one could figure out what it was. And when it first happened, I was like, okay, this is going to go away. Whatever. I'm just going to work through it. I'm going to work through it. And then a month of it went by where I was in excruciating pain 100% of the time. And I was starting to mess up at my job because if anybody knows about chronic pain, it really truly can ruin your life. Like, it's like your attention is on something else, your focus is on something else, and you like actually can't even help it. So I was like, okay, this is serious. So I got in trouble at work, which is very unlike me because I was dropping the ball on things, because I was now suffering with anxiety, because if you're in physical pain for extended periods of time, you're just naturally anxious.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I have to take a medical leave. And all along when I was working at Lululemon, I was like, I know I want to be doing something else. I know I don't want to climb the ladder here, but I don't know, when am I going to do something about it, right? Like, you have 2 days off per week to run errands and like not plan your next life. So I took a medical leave and I was like, okay, this sucks. So this is really correlates to right now so much because I've done this before. I've been in quarantine before. I was in quarantine during this time. So I wasn't contagious, but I was dealing with something very personal, and I literally didn't leave my house for like 3 months except to go to doctor's appointments. That's it. I only went to doctor's appointments. I didn't socialize with people. I wasn't allowed to exercise. I couldn't work. I was essentially on a type of quarantine, and I chose to build my business during that time. I was like, fuck this. I'm doing something great from this. I don't care. Like, I chose to create something beautiful from a super shitty situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I really now, like, thinking about it, I'm like, wow, like, I was being set up for what's happening right now to help lead people to do this exact same thing. Yeah. And like, it gives me goosebumps to even tell it, because it's like, I can't even believe like the chain of events. Like, I was being set up for this.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my story. I mean, that was like, I had no choice. I literally had no choice but to create something that I could do from bed. Like, I was bedridden.
Right. Wow. Thank you for telling that story. It really sets into perspective. There's so many people, there's so many of us that come up with excuses why we don't take action towards what we do. It could be not knowing, it's because we don't believe in it, or we don't believe in ourselves. And there's also some people that say, well, it's easy for you to say you're in a comfortable position. If I was in your position, then I would be able to create a business or create what I want. But you were really against the odds. You were really pressed of something. I don't think people really understand chronic pain. What that actually means isn't this constant discomfort, but something that's overwhelming and overtaking. I personally haven't experienced that, but just hearing people's experience in it, and you were able to take that time and still commit to something bigger, and still commit to growing and learning and how to be adaptable in that time. That's such a powerful tool. So when was it that, because did you have this business already in mind when you were bedridden and you were thinking about launching a business?
When I was on the medical leave, I was like, okay, like, what am I going to do? I also hired a coach. As soon as I went on medical leave, I found a coach and I hired her. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I've always known I wanted to do this. So I want to get certified to be a coach. So I looked for certification programs. I was like, all right, I'm going to look for this. I can probably do it from home, and I'm going to do that. And something else I want to say about that like this whole thing that correlates to right now is like chronic pain. There is not an end point to it. Like, you don't know if it's going to stop or not. And like, that's exactly the situation that we're in right now. It's like, no one can tell us when this is going to be over. So it's like, what are you going to do anyway?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was my whole thing when I was like, okay, if this lasts forever, like, what is it going to be? Like, what am I going to make of this? Because it's very possible it's never going to go away.
Right. So in that time, you building your confidence and you building your skill set to go and launch a business. I personally, knowing you, I know that you are really driven by creating that impact with other people and supporting people, other people, and getting there. So you that had the opportunity to kind of build your own business or just to live your independent life, I know a big part of your mission is to share it and to give it to people. Was that always in you, that you wanted to go and pay it forward to other people's transformation, or was that something that came through?
I think so. I think I've always like enjoyed helping people, but I also, something that I noticed when I was in that situation is that every time that I coached somebody for an hour, like I felt better afterwards.
Yes.
And I was like, it was an hour of me not thinking about how I was hurting, And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. Like this is, so in a way it's like selfish, right? Because it benefited me a lot, but it also benefited the other person. So yeah, I was like, okay, all right. And I think that's something that everybody can take a lesson from now is like, I mean, if we just think about what's happening 100% of the time, we're all going to go nuts, We're going nuts. So it's like, what can you do to shift the focus onto somebody else or something else?
Right. And that's such a powerful tool. My history as a coach, the biggest transformations have come from me taking a stand for other people.
Yeah.
Not just that they get to create new results in their life, but I get to reinforce what I stand for. I get to reinforce and learn as I'm going and I'm teaching. And that to me, that's the definition of win-win. Is not just us worrying about ourselves, but in that time of as we do what we're doing. I'm doing photography and film. It doesn't necessarily need to be driven towards impact, but I feel that fuel on that next level of creation because I get to integrate it with that. So it's a complete win for that. I know a lot of people are at home not quite knowing what to do with themselves. And one of the messages that comes to mind with this is, aside from take care of yourself and elevating your game, utilize whatever resources we can to elevate to what we could create, but go pay it forward, go make a difference with other people and really ingrain it into your being. Yeah. So I know you're working digitally now, more so digitally now, because you're out in the world traveling, which is super exciting. For those of you guys who don't know, you're currently, where are you?
I'm in Medellin, Colombia. I was supposed to be traveling the entire world in 2020, and very ironically, world travel has shut down. The year I decided to do it.
It's so funny because it's been more than a year. You've been like, 2020 is the year that I explore the world. But what's beautiful is that you have been living it, that stuff, and you have been living that reality there right now. That's really an inspiration, and thank you so much for sharing that story. I know that is not necessarily just what we do when it's convenience, is what we do when we're past the convenience, when we're outside of our comfort zone. That
totally
could really define us, that could really support catapulting to the next levels of what we can possibly create. And I really love that, whether it's before or after this whole thing, that you work with your people on being bold and just being powerful within yourself. You're an inspiration to me as I see your pages and I see you post, and I love working with you. I love rocking photo shoots with you.
The feeling is mutual. I can't wait. Next one.
Yeah. So for the people who are home right now, they're on quarantine, they're not quite sure what to do with their energy. You as a person that supports people bold, what would you suggest to people, or what would be your message to people right now?
Okay. I would say, it's a fine line right now. Like, everybody needs to take care of yourself, right? Like, first and foremost, like, make sure you have your needs met, like your physical space secure, your food secure, all those things, right? That's like the first step, is to have brain space to think of what's going to happen next. I would say choose to thrive right now, not just survive. Like, this doesn't have to be bad. Like, what are you going to create right now? In a year from now, how do you want to look back at this time and be like, this is what I did?
Yes.
And I think everybody has something that they're like, oh, I want to do this. Like, it's time now. Like, choose to do it. Like, decide that it's going to happen and get the support you need to follow through.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So this is a very real situation. It's affected many, many people. And, I'm sorry for the people who it has touched home for them. Not to belittle it at all. We know that this is a very severe, serious case going on all around the world. And while we're here, that message that you just sent, where do you want to be a year from now? And how could this today be the starting point towards creating that transformation? When you say a year from now, you look back as like, hey, remember when we were quarantined? What did you do? Oh, it sucked though. I just watched it. So I launched my business, or I took it to a whole nother level, or I started my artistry, whatever that is, that might be real for you. Take this opportunity, take this time to really commit to something much bigger than you a year from now, and start putting in the parts to go and make that happen. And if you guys get support in that, Jessica is by far a phenomenal person to kick your butt. Great. So where can people find you? Where can people follow your work, see what you do, learn from you, and work with you?
So I would say Instagram is probably the best place right now. So it's Jessica Hetherington Coaching. And I kind of direct people from there. So on Monday, on April 6th at 4 p.m., I am holding a workshop about personal branding. So if you want to be a brand in anything, like a blog, a coach, anything right now, like you're thinking about it, or you already are one and you just need to go back to basics, because I think everybody needs to go back to basics right now and have a really clear message, so your audience doesn't have to think any more than they already are. This workshop is for you. It's free. It's an hour. Anybody who's wanting to be a personal brand and know who you are, know who you aren't, and how to communicate that to your ideal client, it'll be perfect for you. I haven't formally announced this, but I'm going to be running a group program called Marketing for More Clients, and it's all about content creation and how to be consistent, and literally giving you everything you would ever need, teaching you how to write the different types of content and holding you accountable to being consistent with it so you can have more clients now. So that's coming up. That's going to be launched immediately after the branding workshop.
Cool. Amazing. Amazing. Jessica, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for sharing your story and sharing all of your heart, all your love, and your magic has been amazing to see, and I really look forward to all the ways that you're going to keep on unfolding.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So to everyone listening on, please tune in, make sure to follow her, check out the work that she's doing, and even just keep posted, man. It's so applicable to wherever you are in your business, wherever you are in your life, that you're exercising, elevating your game to the next level. And for everyone else, we will be staying tuned. Make sure to tune in to more episodes of Say It Loud, where we get to hear from more amazing people around the world doing amazing things. Much love, guys.
Bye.